Hey y'all, it's day 30 of writing with my left hand, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Cue the awkward pause while writing things out. So basically, I guess you could consider this like a month-ish. Considering that I started in September, which is a month that has 30 days. And since I don't really have much to report, besides the fact that I am recording this a little, I'm recording this quite a fair bit earlier than yesterday, but on the end of what I would consider my TBA time slot. Let's fact dump a little bit. Fact dump, and I hope it's a fact dump. I could actually be wrong on a lot of these accounts, so fingers crossed that's not the case, because I'm a little bit too sleepy to want to make a fool of myself. I spent until pretty late last night doing schoolwork. It was a productive session, but it was a very long and tiring session. So let's move on, hopefully. And so basically this is a nerding session. More awkward silences. I'm writing slow, but at least my writing's kind of intact, so I'm not gonna complain way too much about it. Hopefully we'll get faster in the future, though. So, I guess, let's first start with the month poem. For a number of days. And let's write hashtag instead of number for the sake of trying to make the actual writing of this as minimally painful for you guys as possible. For a number of days. Very old rhyme. 30 days. That reminds me of a couple other things. First off, I have the poem of Nothing Gold Can Stay memorized. And another thing is that I really do want to memorize Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. For my own, I don't know, personal pursuement. But that's a digression of this current poem. Said immediate. Well, no, actually, I think I will just end up writing it out. And I'll be honest, I don't remember the entire thing. The most important stanza, but I'm sorry, the most important, I guess, verse/verses would be the first couple, if I'm even saying that right. Sorry, if that's even the correct term, and if it's used correctly in the first place. But yeah, 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. So these are the months with 30 days in them. All the rest. Have 31. And I'm not going to be dumb and misinform, so instead I will just take the loss here and Google search, or yeah, look online the rest of the poem. And I also want to check out the Gregorian calendar. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so the Gregorian calendar is what we currently use. Okay. Or at least that's what it currently seems like. I'm sorry for the, I guess, move. But, yeah. There are two versions of this poem? Okay. You know what? We're gonna be silly little people and divide these into cases. Just for the sake of comprehension. What? Is that the word I'm looking for? For completion. So, number 1 is the longer version. Where it goes, save February at 28, but leap year. Oh, I see the difference. Okay. Yeah. Leap year coming once in 4. February then has 1 day more. There are other bits and pieces I remember that a lot of people don't seem to, such as, I guess, United States patriotic songs such as It's a Grand Old Flag, My Country 'Tis of Thee, Star Spangled Banner. There's a couple more that I myself even probably have forgotten, but you know. Such as The Ravage of Time and The Aging. But February then has one day more. I might as well recite them while writing these down, because we're gonna be here for a good bit. Alright, so what do we start with? We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So the Pledge of Allegiance goes, I pledge allegiance, not I pledge of allegiance, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh my goodness. And in the process of saying that, I have managed to befuddle my brain enough to mess up the second case and inadvertently start at the beginning of the poem again, which is very what do you call it? Inconvenient. No. Dumb. Yes, we'll go with that word. Because I'm also too dumb to think of any other word to describe what I just did. But there's that. And so the second case is except February 28 days clear and 29 in each leap year, which is actually more accurate because of the omission it has compared to case 1. Uh-oh, I'm running out of space. Let's go to My Country 'Tis of Thee. And for the record, I only know, like, the first... Frick, I don't have enough room. I only really know, like, the first... I actually don't know the term for it, so we're just gonna say verses. I only know the first run-through of these, because usually these are derived from poems, which are way longer. So, let's go with the Star Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed, at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and red stars... Wait. Wow, I have forgotten it. Okay, we're gonna do a rewind. Oh, say, can you see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed, at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Yep, I'm starting to lose my touch as well. That should not have been so difficult to recollect. And then, yeah, we actually finished writing these stanzas down before I finished reciting my stuff. I guess we could continue onwards, maybe. Yeah, there's Grand Old Flag. You're a grand old fat flag. You're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue, where there's nary a boast or brag. But should auld acquaintance be forgot, keep an eye on the grand old flag. More accurate. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Yep, yeah. Good old Merkin culture. It's not bad, but mandating, yeah, I don't know what I think about the fact that schools impart these onto children and try to, I guess, to the level of imprinting. Regardless of that, there's a history to it, which is a very bland passing off of an objective truth to close out any divulgement of opinion. Well, to be fair, I don't really have one, and it would be kind of stupid for me to offer one, especially when I haven't formulated one. I don't know if I want to formulate one. Maybe some other time. Let's get back to this. Julian calendar. Leap year every 4 years. Which is case 1. And then Gregorian calendar. Which is, I think this is the one we currently use. Remove three leap years. Every 400 years. So, the way it lives in my head is, every 4, skip the hundreds, add the 400. Convoluted, clunky, but it's what's in my head. So it's what sits there. It's cool to know. Who knows? I might not live long enough, but if I do live to the next century, it would be pretty interesting to see the skip, you know? The reason why we have... the reason why we do this is because, Earth year is not... is like... an Earth year is approximately 365.24-ish days. So leap years are a way to compensate for this. The issue with the Julian calendar accounted for this, but accounted for the fact that roughly a quarter of a day is not accounted for per year, and just accumulates it as one extra day in the fourth year, which we call a leap year. The issue with this is that we are... the amount of time we are ignoring is actually less than a quarter of a day. So we're actually adding too many leap years under the Julian calendar, which is why we have the shift to the Gregorian calendar, where we decide to remove 3 leap years every 400 years, and these 3 leap years occur in year 100, 200, and 300, so as to try and get our calendar approximation closer to alignment with the years actually passing on Earth. So let me actually write that down. Leap years. Realign calendar year to Earth year. Woohoo! Very fun times. I think it's for this reason that George Washington's birthday was also shifted 11 days. Or, I don't remember the exact numbers, I just happen to know that George Washington was born on a certain date in the Julian calendar, but I think apparently the Reformation, like the acceptance of the Gregorian calendar took time, and so the shift to Gregorian happened sometime during or after George Washington's life, which causes his birthday to have been shifted by a certain amount of days, which is interesting. Also, I forget, George Washington's birthday, I believe, is the 22nd, maybe. Is it? I will fact check myself. George Washington's birthday should be birth date, yes. February 22nd. That's okay. And then Lincoln's is on February 12th. And then for President's Day, we honor his birthday on 17th. Interesting. Yeah, good thing I saw that. I was right in my head about his birthday, but I would have been wrong for everything else I would have said afterwards. So we're going to ignore what I was wrong about, because usually it's good to say what you're wrong about and why you're wrong about it, but in this case, it's wrong because of a simple misremembering, which I do not deem relevant here. But the TLDR is, the federal government more or less recognizes Washington's birthday 5 days before his actual birthday. Not much else to say there. We're gonna move on. Other cool tidbits. BC, which I think is actually, I think it's genuinely English for before Christ, and if it's not, sue me. I think modern textbooks will end up using this a lot more often, BCE, which stands for before Common Era. For this. Trying to go away from a Christian-oriented timeline, which is a little, or like labeling, which is a little strange considering they're the same reference point. Like, I guess it's one of those things that, in my ignorance, I wouldn't know and wouldn't actually have an appropriate opinion to share. But the next part is AD, which is in Latin for Anno Domini. AKA the year of our Lord. Which is often represented as just CE or Common Era. I don't make the rules, I'm just here to commentate on them. Some of them are more interesting and a little more likable than others, depending. Also, if I'm wrong, or there's, anything that requires correction or could definitely use some additional information, don't hesitate to leave a comment. I might try to fight you, not because I want to go against you, just because I want to make sure that what you're saying is sound. I guess the way that this would go would be like, oh, I end up checking the internet, checking sources, trying to find credible sources on this information, and then I guess confirming the stuff, and then hearting and liking comments that seem sound, essentially. Always have to be careful about that, about what you say, because misinformation can spread very fast and take root very deeply, which can cause issues. Who knows? Maybe I'm victim to them, some of them, which is, yeah, who knows? Why English? Okay, next, we'll talk about time. AM. So the way time is, this comes from Latin. So we have ante, or ante, I guess would be correct. Ante, meridium. And what I actually like about this is that the translation for this is pretty much one-to-one in English. Before is ante, before, and then mirror is mid, and then diem is day. If you are familiar with the phrase carpe diem, seize the day, that's also in Latin, that there is the diem that they share. Hopefully I am not misinforming when I claim that the diem in here is at least the same meaning of day as in carpe diem. Before midday, morning, or something of the sort, morning. And then we have PM, which is post meridium. I think you can guess what this means, hopefully. Well, why am I saying that? That's very rude and presumptuous of me. This could be left as an exercise for you, but I'm not going. This is supposed to be a writing session more than an info dump. So basically I failed so far. We're gonna ignore that. Post translates to after, roughly. And then we have meridium again, midday. And now we end up with afternoon. Yay! Yeah. Cool things. And unrelated, like kind of related to this. Yeah, I do know or remember a couple of facts of trivia, because yeah, I read a encyclopedia 10 years, 11 years ago, so it might be out of date or like outdated or wrong at this point, but what is it? Great Barrier Reef Sponge. Purportedly has a lifespan of roughly 2,300 years. Which is kind of lucky. I can't. Well, actually, no, I'm not. That's wrong. It's pretty insane that like 100 generations could go by and the Great Barrier Reef Sponge would technically be alive for all of it, depending on whether we preserve its habitat or not. We also have... What am I thinking about? Right. Specifically, what I wanted to touch upon was the Empire of Great Britain. Land where the sun never sets. Hey y'all, sorry, had to do a cut. Friends came in. I do not want to inadvertently dox any of them. Yeah. So, Great Britain, the Empire, land where the sun never sets. I think this covered... I forget the numbers, so, yeah, I'm not gonna be dumb about this. But I believe it's 40%. Land percent. Empire. Interesting. Yeah, this is definitely not what I remember from my encyclopedia. Percentage of land. Yeah, okay. Fair enough, yeah. It was either 40% or roughly 25%. Seems like the answer is 24%. So we're gonna write that down. 24% of world's land. Yeah, and the reason it was called the land this land where the sun never sets is because quite literally, its control over the world meant that at any given point there was at least one place in the empire where there was sunlight. So I think that's how it goes. At least that's what they say. So yeah, pretty crazy. Greatest empire in terms of holding in terms of estate holdings, I guess. Is that even correct vocabulary? So that's the largest empire, and then wait for it. Mongols had the largest contiguous empire, which means the largest empire that was on one whole scrap of land. Mongols. Yeah. Because Great Britain, a lot of their conquests were, say, overseas, like Australia, Americas, which is why the contiguous distinction is important here, in a sense. And of course, this could be wrong or out of date with what we currently know. But this is what I remember, for better or worse, or what else, and also what I forget. At one point, I also remembered the 5 longest wars. So let me try and remember that one random YouTube short that covered, according to a certain metric, the world's bloodiest wars. So, World War II. And a disclaimer to this section. Subjective. I think this is by death count. World War II. And I'm probably going to mix up the orderings of these a fair bit. Mongolian conquests. Taiping Rebellion. We have Columbus Exchange. Or, yeah, not wars. The bloodiest, probably the correct word here is events. Because I don't know if the Columbus Exchange was a war. And I don't even know if the word events is accurate here, because a lot of these things listed here are comprised of events happening. I don't know. This is what happens when you consume knowledge at a high level. You're going to be wrong. And at the same time, because we are so bad at communication, it's just going to be so tough to go into why these things are wrong. The handicap of stupidity. Columbus Exchange, Transition from Ming to Qing. Dynasty. Ming, Qing. I have no clue how they're pronounced. It's how it goes. Transition from Ming to Qing. Dynasty. And of course, World War I. And like the only thing I will say is that I have a feeling at the very least these two, Taiping Rebellion and Mongolian conquests, are swapped around. So let's check. World's bloodiest events. And we use YouTube, sorry, no, not YouTube. We use Wikipedia as our reference. Although it is not, say, although Wikipedia isn't necessarily reliable per se, it has definitely improved since. Since its inception, and as long as you, I guess, put an effort into checking out the sources Wikipedia itself uses, you're probably okay. So what does this say? It says World War II, Mongolian conquests, 3 kingdoms, which is the dissolving of the Qin dynasty. Then there's the Taiping Rebellion, and there's World War I. This does not include the Columbus Exchange. So, this does not include the Columbus Exchange. And 3 kingdoms instead of transition from Ming to Qing dynasty. So let us now go to that YouTube short. Which was asked as a quiz question. I don't think I'll find it, I will be honest. Genuinely difficult. Again, this is also subjective, I believe. Because it's like, what do you count? What are you counting of what you count? And I cannot find the thing. I think I would actually need to browse my saved. I usually like searching things up in incognito window because I don't like my prior searches messing up with the later searches I make. Just because searching algorithms have seemed to deteriorate. Uh-oh, it doesn't look like I have it. This is never a good sign. Yeah, I'm not gonna leave you guys here too long. So we will at least zoom out of my writing as is usually done. And yeah. Hope you have fun. Had fun. And yep, it doesn't look like I am able to find it, so we are going to stick with this. Feel very free to roast me, fact check me, whatever. And, yeah, that shall be the 30 days of trial by attrition. Have a good one.